What in the holy heck was that?
Really, really bad on purpose.
What was that? I don't even know what that was.
Disney Mulan.
Was that Mulan? Oh my gosh. That was so
Terrifying.
Amazingly terrible. I thought you were having a stroke. Hi, I'm Joe.
And I'm Lauren.
And we are
the
NeuroNerds.
Yes, that was on time.
I feel pretty good about that.
NeuroNerds.
So it's been what? It's been a little while since we've been in the same room together.
It's been 2 weeks.
It's been 2 weeks. That's too long. It's 2 weeks too long.
And there's no La Croix. So
there isn't.
La Croix has not sponsored us. And now I have expectations of La Croix. And Joe is just not fulfilling them.
I'm not.
This is why we cannot have a long-term relationship going on here.
Yeah, it's. I feel like I'm not holding up my end.
You are not.
So the NeuroNerds, we record at at my place. We're actually like in, what is this? Like a den? It's kind of like a room. Basically, it's just a big closet right now.
I was gonna say right now we're having a very Harry Potter moment. We're in a fucking closet.
It is. I really wish there were like stairs right here.
Like, guys, I normally don't have to look at Joe's face when we do this.
We're facing one another. It's a little awkward.
Like, we can touch.
Yeah, we're normally like side by side. So we're like looking straight ahead or at the microphones.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm staring at the mic, I'm actually staring at Lauren. It's a little uncomfortable because I think she's going to hit me.
I'm not going to hit you. You have yet to do something other than not provide me La Croix.
Yes,
that deserves to be hit.
I need to go to Costco and I need to pick up some La Croix. I only get it at Costco because you get like 4 6-packs for like $8. Are you serious? It's amazing.
I know.
And I go to like a regular store and it's like, oh, it's like $4 for a 6-pack. I'm like, no. That's just dumb.
I was gonna say, you know how I bougie it up?
Mm-hmm.
So I was out of town for a few days in Vegas for work, and I did not have a good time. I am not a fan of Vegas, and what work was just not fun. But
Vegas is amazing.
It's not. It's expensive.
Oh, you don't like to get fall down drunk.
Correct.
That's right.
And then when I go to events where like they have an open bar, and I just see people. I see people bum rush the open bar to get shit-faced drunk. All that tells me is, man, you just really can't afford booze full price on your own, huh? So that's me. But anyways, I flew home.
Hi, my name's Lauren. I'm bourgeois. Yeah. If you guys weren't curious.
I know. I
If you guys were curious.
But no, so I flew home. Again, let's up it up even more. So I can't just do water. I can't just do still water. So I flew out on Southwest. I got myself a Pellegrino beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
Most expensive Pellegrino I think I've had. It was like $6.
By the way, I'm not a big fan of Pellegrino.
No,
the bubbles are too small.
I don't like Pellegrino.
I don't know if that makes sense to you.
No, they do. The size of the bubbles
Yes.
makes sense. That's why I like Perrier.
Yes.
Right?
See, I'm right there with you.
Yes.
This is why we get along. Please don't hit me.
You're too far away. Plus, I can see your face, and you'll cry, and it's just not going to be fun. But so I flew home on a private jet. If you've heard of,
Ooh.
I know. If you've heard of Jet Suite X,
sponsor
us.
Yes, it's so dope. All right, so if is it only California?
Right now, but it does fly to Nevada, and I think
that was the most redneck thing you have ever said. Down in Nevada, we're gonna go down to Nevada.
Okay, so my accent doesn't. I don't know if you guys can tell. My accent doesn't always stay stable when I'm speaking, regardless of what language it is. So I switch between heavily accented like Spanish with a Korean inflection.
Wow. Yeah.
Or to like Southern California, like
oh
Valley
my gosh,
girl,
like when you speak
upward inflection.
When you speak Elvish, do you have that? Like, do you have, oh, wow, I was really Spanishy, like when I was speaking Elvish there? Or like I had a little bit of like the Korean that I speak that came out at the end of that word?
Not with Elvish, but I do hear it when I'm actually speaking Spanish. I can hear my Korean inflection in there.
That's weird. Wait, so Jet X, I just read about Jet Suite X? Yes. So basically it's like, jets are for like crazy rich people. Yes. So they have this thing now where it's like, hey, you guys are regular folks. You can get a seat on this jet and we'll take you to like a place. And it's actually really, really affordable.
Yeah, it was more expensive if I wanted to fly home on Southwest than Jet Suite X.
That's incredible.
But so I'm bringing it back to sparkling water, how I don't have La Croix here. So they served Perrier on the flight. So, excuse me, we like Perrier.
I do like Perrier. It's the other one.
So again, bringing it back. So I have expectations of sparkling water. So like for next time, I need that.
Ooh, wait, what, do you have a preference in flavor?
Equal opportunity.
Oh, no. The only correct...
Grapefruit.
Yes, the only correct answer is pamplemousse.
Yes.
I don't know why they call it that.
Because it's French.
Is it? Yeah. Dude, I'm part French. I should know these things.
How are you part French?
Hello. You see this vein right there? That's my French vein. That's how I get that's how my last name is French. Did you not know my last name is French?
I know it's not Hispanic.
It's not. It's Borges, Borges, but the true pronunciation is Borges.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's like 5 greats. It's like my great grandfather was French, and that's where the name came from. And ever since then, it's been all Puerto Ricans. So I have like just my last name is French, and then like the rest of like my family tree is like Puerto Ricans.
My abuelita, when she was alive, she was telling me she swore we were French because our skin is very light olive, and we have. She said her father or her grandfather had red hair and green eyes. I was like, he's a ginger. But
I didn't know you had family members that had no soul.
I know. I was about to say that. But so according to my grandmother, we're French. I don't know if we actually were, because she said about Emperor Maximilian when he was in Mexico. So
Maximilian?
Mm-hmm. Maximilian.
Yeah, Maximilian.
Yes.
I gotta learn Spanish.
I know.
I do. I've been scolded by my occupational therapist.
I gave you a comic book.
I haven't started reading it yet. I'm being honest. It's literally, I'm not even kidding. You could see it. It's right by my bed. It's right there. And
this is part of your recovery task.
It is. I even told my occupational therapist, I was like, Haley, I'm going to learn Spanish. I'm learning like 3 phrases every session.
Mm-hmm.
None of them have really stuck. A little bit, but I'm getting better. And I said, but I'm gonna be doing homework at home. I was like, my co-host amazingly brought me this dope Star Wars Spanish comic book from overseas because she's the dopeness. And she would never kick me in the face repeatedly. So I'm really excited about that. I you know what it is? It's just there's so many moving parts and there's like a lot going on. I get like crazy overwhelmed really quickly.
Yeah,
just with like normal things. So now it's like, oh, something else too much. Like even right now, right before we did this, I had to go get like a prescription from Costco. Had to pick up some stuff from Costco. I had to mail out my old phone. Or like I upgraded my phone. I went from the 7 Plus to the 8 Plus. Boom.
I'm like, what do I have?
Joe's like a brand new person.
Woo.
It literally looks exactly the same. There's no difference aside of the fact that like it
costs
takes
more.
Incredible pictures.
Yes.
Like it's so dope. So like we had to go to like the T-Mobile store and then like they printed out the little thing. Then I had to go to the UPS store, like drop it off. And then I had to go get the mail and then I had to come. It was just a lot. So like literally inside it was chaos.
Of course.
Outside I'm like, oh, hey, how's it going? Everything's good. Yeah. It's
Isn't
great.
that the fun thing when especially if you're recovering basically from anything, but especially when it has to do with your brain, that's like, we feel compelled to tell the world we're totally on it. We're totally positive.
Yes.
Everything is 100% great. Always positive. And on the inside, you're like in a little cave, wrapped up, hands over your head going, oh my God.
It's crazy. Is it vanity? Why do we do that? Like, is it vanity? For me, I go to therapy.
It could be part vanity or part ego.
Yeah, I go to therapy once a week and like I try to figure like all this stupid shit out. And one of the things is like, I think I might be vain, but I'm not because I really don't care. But I really do care. Like
we're all vain.
I'm so vain. I probably think this. Stop singing.
Yeah.
I don't want to pay for it. So I don't necessarily think it's vanity, but I guess I don't really know what else to call it. I don't want somebody to look at me and be like, oh, there's something wrong with that dude.
Yeah, that has to do with, and I think a lot of us, when we're recovering from, again, it's like stuff that when you can't see it. So it's not a broken bone. We don't want pity and we don't want sympathy. Right. Or we don't want this overwhelming amount of pity coming our way, especially, or feeling like a burden to someone or that kind of issue, because what we have is something that's not visible.
Right.
And then the other thing that happens is, or you wear a pin like Joe that says, I have a neurological hidden disability.
Oh, right? I do.
That button. But I think the other thing that happens is, especially if you don't have a support system. And I know I went through this when I was literally dealing with lawyers and insurance companies. And I literally thought I was crazy, I was making it up. That I was being so dramatic, that all my anxiety was self-made and that I was just driving myself nuts. And I figured it was all in my own head. So I wanted to make sure everyone knew I was totally cool,
right,
moving forward, healing, while on the inside, I'm having panic attacks while I'm driving and having to call my friend at work and beg her just to put me on mute so I could just talk.
That's
Right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Like seriously, just hearing that, like I'm super anxious, but I know, like I don't sympathize, like I empathize.
Exactly.
Like, I've been through it.
Yes.
So like on the outside, we're cooler than the other side of the pillow.
Yeah.
But like inside, it's like the Battle of Helm's Deep. It's crazy. It's just chaos.
It's like if you've seen the movie Inside Out, the only image I can get in my head is at the very end when they're doing like the glimpses during the credits of other people's minds. And then they have like that teenage boy who meets the little girl. And then you get it. And it's all these guys going, girl, girl. And they're all running around. One's crying in a corner. One's hitting buttons for like eject. Like that. I feel like the chaos that goes on in our minds sometimes because half of it, like the healthy and rational part tells us we're healing. It takes time, especially with the brain. And it's different for each individual person because no one's brain chemistry is the same.
Right.
And so there's no way to predict what's going to last and what isn't, what's going to come back. But on top of that, it is part of our ego, especially if the expectation of where we were.
Mm-hmm.
And I say ego in not a negative term, but almost in a term like for our own expectations, because we don't have any patience for ourselves.
At all.
So we're like, no, it's been 6 months. I should be 100% back where I was, 110%.
I say ego as in the living planet. No, I understand that. I actually, my occupational therapist, it's really warm here. So we're doing the podcast
in
like
the closet.
Yeah, basically kind of like in a little closet. It's like my little work area, but
It's a closet.
It gets really, really hot in here, and I run hot, so like I'm like a heater. So
well, let's just put it this way:
we're gonna be sweating like crazy.
Well, I got a sports bra on underneath, so I can just take my shirt off. So this might be a good thing for like, hey, you guys, if you guys want to be on Patreon.
Hey, you guys want to turn up the heat?
We may have to delete that.
That's amazing.
Wrong show.
That needs to stay in. So yeah, it's crazy. It's just craziness. So my occupational therapist told me, she was like, well, why are you beating yourself up? And she was like, let's say it was somebody else.
Exactly.
What would you say to them? And I'm like, oh, well, it's this. And like, I'm very kind and caring and sympathetic to others. But when it comes to me, I am the nastiest, meanest human being. It's so messed up. So like even admitting, it took me a while to even admit that I have an injury, that I have a brain injury. It was so like I have this pin, a hidden neurological disability. Like I took a picture of it and like I posted it. It took me forever to hit send because like I didn't want anybody to like think that there was something wrong with me. So it was like a big step for me to actually admit, hey, there's something wrong with me and I need a little bit of help.
Do you ever feel with like imposter syndrome? So there's it mostly has to do with work, where this term comes from, where it's like women, when we apply for jobs or whatever, we always feel like we're not good enough, or like, oh, if we don't have 100% of what they're looking for the position, we're not going to apply. Or once we have the job, we're terrified that they're going to discover like we're not qualified.
Right.
But I think also what happens with brain injuries, especially something maybe like a concussion, where it's soft tissue damage, you can't really see it. There's no real thing for curing it.
Right.
We're labeling it a brain injury. There's the fear or like where I'm calling it imposter syndrome, but it's probably not the right term. But it's like, oh, but I didn't have a stroke, right? Or I didn't have brain surgery. I didn't have. So it's almost like, wait, why am I claiming something so traumatic when I just had, this is again where a therapist came in where I told her I have a boo-boo on my brain and she stopped me in my tracks.
It's not a boo-boo.
Exactly. She stopped me in my tracks and she's like, no. She's like, you're minimizing what you went through. And again, when you have a brain injury, sometimes you can't trust what's going on in your head.
It's the scariest, most frustrating thing.
Yeah, especially if you're a control freak.
Oh, yeah, you don't seem like that at all.
Oh no, I had to go to therapy to admit I'm a control freak. I am you're a recovering Catholic. I'm a recovering control freak.
Did you sit down with your therapist and say, yeah, you can sit over there?
No,
that would have been amazing.
I was in denial. I told myself I was go with the flow and chill. My therapist made me come, to the conclusion that I was a control freak. Mm-hmm. And I had to confess to my parents that I was a control freak. I was terrified to confess to my parents that I was a control freak.
Were they like, yeah?
Oh, it was like out of a movie. Like I sat them down. I was like, guys, I have to talk to you. I'm really scared. I don't know how to say this. So the first thing my mom says, she goes, are you moving out? And I was like, no, I'm not moving out. And my dad's like, did you kill someone? I'm like, I didn't kill anyone.
Why are those their go-tos?
And so I look at my parents. I'm like, they're sitting on the couch. I'm sitting on the table and I'm like, Mom, Dad, I'm a control freak. And it was straight out of a movie. So they look at me, they lean in and they go, yeah. And I felt so betrayed.
Like, what are you going to tell us?
Yeah,
because clearly that's a thing.
I felt like, oh my God, everyone's been lying to me my whole life. And I was so upset and distraught. And my mother looked at me and she's like, I gave birth to you. You've been like this since day one.
That's
right?
Hilarious.
So as someone who acknowledges that, you can't control everything in the universe, can't control your body, you can't control your autonomous systems. Like when you get to the point where you can't trust your brain, you can't trust the emotions, and you can't trust your perception of reality when you're healing. Yeah. It's terrifying. And it's a good lesson.
I had the mental yips. Because so
I'm like, what?
You know the yips? Like if you're an athlete, right? Okay. Or a baseball player, like a catcher has the yip. I can't throw the ball back to the pitcher. Or can't throw, like, I have the yips. I just don't have it. Like a basketball player, like, I just can't shoot free throws anymore for some reason.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like a mental yip, like your brain will be like,
kind of. Like, you just have the yips. Like, I have like the yips. So I had that. I had the yips mentally because I didn't know if I could trust my brain.
Yeah.
It was really frustrating. And I talked to Kaylee, my occupational therapist, and I was like, yeah, and this and that. I actually thought for a second, I was like, what if I have like aphasia? And because I was reading up on aphasia, and I was like, what if I have that? And she literally looked at me and she was like, you're inside your head, aren't you? I was like, yes, Kaylee, yes, I have the yips. I can't stop it. I don't know what things are, but she calmed me down and she helped me through everything, as she does, because she's just incredible. But yeah, it's weird to not be able to trust yourself.
I love the self-diagnosis. I did the same thing.
Dude, why I love Kaylee is because she just straight looked at me like almost like, seriously, dummy, come on.
No, the one I had was I was worried. I was having anxiety. I'd never had that in my life, and then I was terrified. I was falling back into depression, and so my I think it was actually my mom. It might have been the therapist. Was literally like, if you're having anxiety about having depression, you probably just have anxiety.
That's wow. That makes that makes so much sense. Right? Wow.
She's like, if you're obsessing on whether or not you have depression, you probably just have anxiety.
Right.
Going on.
I'm depressed that I have so much anxiety and I'm so anxious that I have depression that it's a vicious cycle.
It is. And it vicious is the term.
Yeah.
And it's self-perpetuating. So we need someone to like, it's like, like on Caesar Milan, the dog whisperer, like exactly. We need someone to come in and like.
That, well, for me, thank goodness I have, Felice has been amazing. She's everything. She really is. And as for therapists, my therapist, she's cool. I actually really.
This is therapist number 2, right?
This is like number 3, actually. So the first one was terrible. My second therapist was amazing.
I don't consider your first therapist.
Yeah, honestly, I don't even remember a whole lot of it because I was super strokey. My second therapist, she just was so comforting. Everything that she did, the way she spoke, she got it. I had a really good bond with her, and so then she left, and I was like, what a bitch. No, I'm just kidding.
I know we've worked through this.
But my she's cool, she's good, but I don't know. It's
you've been hurt before.
I have been. So she's just kind of there. But Kaylee, she has been everything in my recovery. And she was there to literally look at me like I was an insane person. Like, dude, I think she even said, dude, she's like, dude, you're in your head, aren't you? I was like, yeah. And she's like, yeah, we got it. So we started working on some things to kind of help me get back on track. And it did. Within a week or two, I was like, what the hell was wrong with me? But these things creep up. And the last thing I want is for people to think that I'm crazy. I don't want that.
Well, of course, because all the negative connotations. I know you're crazy. I don't have to
think
you are.
Absolutely.
I think one of the best tools to help us what it was reframing.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Oh my God. My new therapist, she's helped me with reframing, which has been good. So that's why I'm like, oh, you're cool. I reframe the shit out of some stuff.
Yeah.
It's very helpful, worst case scenario, it's half glass full, glass half full, glass half empty.
Right.
Pessimist, optimist.
Or it's glass and it has water in it.
That's true.
The realist, there's water in it.
Right. At least it's glass and not plastic with BPA.
Right.
Most LA thing I've ever said.
No, it's not, because you didn't talk about how it was made from rose quartz and it had been saged.
Oh yeah, that's
with ginger in
it. Yes.
And wheatgrass.
It's like drinking someone's lawn. Yeah. So I say it a lot. I don't want anybody to look at me and be feel bad for me.
Why? I'm like, let's have a therapy set. Why?
I don't know. I really.
Is there incompetence? attached to it, or like, do you fear being a burden to people?
I do.
Mm-hmm.
I've always felt that because I grew up. So like I grew up in a house, and then that went south, and my mom like kidnapped me away from the abusive sperm donor, and so like we just bounced around from like place to place, literally just surviving, and we were kind of like a burden to other people, and I saw how it made my mom feel, and I saw how other people reacted. I never ever wanted that. So like. So I was always brought up too, if you can't do a certain thing, just don't do it. You know, like if we can't go somewhere, we just don't go.
Mm-hmm.
We can't do so. We just don't do it until like we're able to, because we don't want to be burdens to anyone else.
Okay.
So I for sure just don't want to be a burden. Like I don't want people to like have to like walk on eggshells around me because I have PTSD and every loud noise freaks me the F out. Like it's like a problem, you know, it's I have a problem. I have a problem. Like it's crazy, but like I don't want people to look at me and be like, oh, there's something wrong with Joe. Like I have to, no, I don't want to burden anybody. I don't want to inconvenience anyone.
And you don't want anyone to treat you differently.
At all. So, and the last thing I want is for people to be like, oh, well, yeah, you know, Joe, the stroke and like the PTSD. And it's like, I don't want that. I don't want that.
You're assigning a judgment to it.
Yeah. Like that's, now again, Kaylee was awesome. She was like, okay, well, if it was someone else, how would you say that? And I'd be like, oh, no, but that's amazing. And this is it. I'm a dick to myself.
That's everyone.
Yeah, it's terrible. So like when I tell people like, you know, admitting that you're in pain or that there's something wrong or that you need help, that's one of the strongest thing anyone can do. That's one of the most adult things. It shows true strength and grit to actually admit I need help.
That's your superhero origin story.
It is. But like when it comes to me, I'm like, no, I don't want to do that because I feel weak. I'm fine. I'm not. I'm a basket case. I do need help. It's just really, really hard to admit it because I don't want to burden anybody. I don't want to inconvenience anyone. And I absolutely don't want anybody to look down, not even look down on me, but just be like, oh, pobrecito. Like, I don't want that. I want people to like see me thrive and be amazing because I'm pretty amazing. And I want them to be like, oh, wait, he had a stroke. What? That's incredible. Like, I want more of like I want to exceed expectations than just like meet the bare minimum because I had a brain injury.
But can you see or feel? Because I do the same thing. I was called a DOA, damn overachiever, my whole life. If you haven't been able to tell, but the amount of pressure that is,
it's a lot.
Because recovery, as if you're in the recovery phase of anything, you know, is not a straight line.
No,
it's just like success. It is not a straight line. It is hard and it's painful, and you go backwards and sideways. And you might stay moving sideways in a backward diagonal for a bit before you make a right turn. And so I think that additional pressure of like, I always have to be moving forward. I always have to be progressing can almost be a disservice.
You said that to me months ago.
Yes.
And it stuck because I was like, yeah, because all I wanted to do was
move forward and
constantly move forward. That's it. Always moving forward. Just started season 2. I'm really excited. So like that's all. Like I never wanted
finished season 2.
I haven't. I'm a horrible person.
Okay.
Is it good?
I've actually finished something before you.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now you can shame me. So like I didn't even want to like stand still and tread water. I always just want to keep moving forward. So when I did and I'd have these little hiccups, it would be like the end of the world, you know? And then, you know, Lauren basically beat me up. Verbally beat me up and then physically beat me up. And
I am not abusive, guys. I have never been like in a fight outside of a ring, okay?
Hey, this is a cry for help. She beats me. So that really stuck because I was like, yeah, I can't always move forward. And if something happens and, you know, I take a step back, that's not it. I'm not now just going backwards. It was a hiccup. And now I'm right back to, going forward where I want to be. So that was very helpful. And the beating, that was helpful too. So I had a question for you and for our fellow NeuroNerds.
Okay, what's the question?
Well, it's actually like what they should be called. What like our people should be called.
Our tribe?
Yes. So Mimi, who remember Mimi? She has this amazing. She calls like all of her people her brain buddies, and I love the alliteration.
Wait, so we're looking for something other than our NeuroNerds?
Yeah. So like, do we just call everybody like fellow NeuroNerds? Yeah. Okay, because I was thinking,
or our nerdies.
Oh,
like nerds. Oh my god,
that like the candy.
Okay, I just had an image so from the movie Up, you know how there's the Ellie badge and it's the grape soda?
Oh, I do, yeah.
When we have the summit.
The nerds. Oh my gosh. I have to figure out how to get in contact with nerds.
And we'll just get giant.
Oh, no, not even nerds. I have to figure out how to get in contact with Willy Wonka.
Yes.
Because Willy Wonka does nerds.
Yep.
Have you ever had giant nerds?
Yes.
They're
I love nerds. I used to pour them into the sour ones. I used to pour them in my water.
Obvious. Ew.
Yeah, that's
so
the
gross.
best.
That's so gross. Obviously, you love nerds. You love me.
Yes, I do.
Don't say that like you're like, oh, yeah. No, it's amazing. I'm incredible.
And so humble.
So, what? No, because I was thinking neurons.
No, we discussed this last
Because it
time.
sounds so much like morons.
No, but remember
So
I told you that neurons have to do with the building blocks of life, of an atom.
So
Protons,
should we
neurons,
say
electrons?
so we
can't do that.
So should we say just fellow neuronerds?
Yeah, I think that I like that.
I like that. 'Cause
I
we're all
mean, if
neuronerds.
anyone that's listening has any other ideas, we do like alliterations.
We do. That's why I was super jealous of Brain Buddies. Damn it, Mimi.
But that works. But
It does.
But we're neuro and we're nerds. So
We
it's
are.
like we got to have that marriage going on.
Right.
So if anyone can help us with any sort of like nerdy like brain name, we're totally open to it. But
I even like the way brain name
brain
sounds.
I do love alliterations and sounds.
Yeah,
But
we're Marvel fans.
I know that's true.
Bruce Banner.
But yeah, if you have any ideas, please send them our ways. We'll look at every single one. Please make them appropriate. Like children will be at some of these events. You know, we want to include them in the group. So
yeah, that's true. I had to change the way that I speak because of that. I'm very inappropriate, apparently.
Yeah, I know.
So, we talk about like admitting weakness and like there's like when something is wrong. And I reach out to a lot of you who reach out to me. Like I'll do like, it's almost like cold calls. I'll look up, this person I'll look up stroke tags and then I'll find people and be like, hey, just wanted to introduce myself. My name's Joe, I had a stroke. Just kind of want to know your story. And, I love that people like share their stories. It's very helpful to me. It's very helpful to like the community. And it's really, really helpful to the people to actually get it out there.
Uh-huh.
Several people recently have been like, yeah, I don't really, it's too soon. Whether it's like it happened a month ago or like one person was like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And they're like, if I actually like write about it, if I actually do, become a guest blogger and share my story, she's like, it just makes it real.
Exactly.
And she wasn't ready for it.
No,
I'm not going to name
many
names.
people that aren't ready to, because it's a trauma.
It
and
is.
just like anything else, you have to be in a position, both in your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health, in order to move past it. You have, again, your body deals with trauma differently, depending on what it is. And you have to, your body and your mind are going to do whatever it takes to survive.
Yeah.
And so if having to confront a traumatic experience is actually going to do more damage than good at the moment, your body's not going to want you to do it. You're going to just be like, I can't.
Yeah, I felt terrible. I was like, hey, no pressure. Like, I don't want to push anybody, but whenever you're ready, like, let me know, because it's actually really freeing. For me, it was the scariest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Even recently, it's only been a month or so since I was like, yeah. So I started like talking about like my brain injury. Like I had a damaged brain. It's really difficult to say that because it's like, oh, well, you're weak. There's something wrong with you. And it's not. There's nothing wrong with me. There was the little hiccup.
Well, and it's nothing you did.
Right. Well.
But but it's not like, it wasn't because, you were driving too fast. It wasn't because
It wasn't because I was
blackout drunk.
I wasn't doing a bunch of cocaine and hookers like I talked about when I was in the hospital.
No.
So yeah, no, but it was, I just remember the fear that I had even sharing that, I think the first thing I did is I posted like a picture on my Insta story and I was like, I was so afraid, but immediately there was like two people that like hit me back. And one of them was like, oh, this is amazing. Thank you for sharing. Another one was like, hey, this is and like shared their story. And I was like, this is incredible. Like, I almost feel like a responsibility now to open up and share because it feels so good. It doesn't feel good. It's stressful. It's crazy.
Vulnerability is the scariest thing ever.
But I'm overcoming it.
But there's
and
strength in that.
It's so freeing, like it really is. And I'm going to continue to do so. And I kind of encourage all of you to do the same. And if you need help, feel free to reach out to either one of us. know, Lauren's amazing.
Yeah,
she rarely beats me. But obviously, you hear Lauren. Lauren's amazing, and she's recovered incredibly from her major concussion. Not only that, she's like a multi-time pole dancing champion.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And
she's like the Michael Phelps of pole dancing.
I wish
Seriously.
I could eat like him. Oh my God. No, it's really cool. I've had a couple people reach out. Was really cool was a listener recommended me to a girl who had a concussion, who's also a pole dancer, but she didn't get it in pole. I don't think she got it in pole. But, she was able to reach out and they were like, that's so cool that you're a pole dancer and you have concussion. And then there's another one. I have his Instagram up right here. He's so sweet. I just posted a photo from my competition last week and he's like, you're amazing. Keep moving. Like, keep doing awesome. And his name's Brendan. And he's super sweet. And
Brendan.
It looks like he works in the gym out. Wow. He works out in the gym. See, again, with the brain crossing issues.
Come on, neurons connect.
I know. Neurons. Not neurons.
No.
Neurons. And so, but I remember he had messaged me something about feeling less than and like how to deal with it. And it had something to do with like about not owning. He didn't want to be labeled the same thing. And I turned it on him. I was like, why don't you just own it?
Right. It's like, yours.
Yeah. That's your badge now. Yeah. Don't let someone else use that as a label. Use it as your own damn badge.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. It's kind of like taking the word nerd back. Like back.
Exactly.
So what's funny is, Felice's father, like I remember when I started talking about like the NeuroNerds and he was like, well, why do you want to be called nerds? Like that's like a bad thing,
Yeah.
He comes from a different generation, right? So when he was called a nerd, even when I was a kid, when I was called a nerd, it was like, oh no, like that
means like, wow,
it's terrible.
Yeah.
You know what?
It's
nerds,
ostracization.
It is. So like we're taking it back. Nerds are like taking over. Being a nerd, that's not a bad thing. That means you're like super into something really cool.
Well, and think about it. Like the movie I always think back to is The Faculty. Elijah Wood was the little nerd.
Not Revenge of the Nerds.
No, The Faculty. Have you?
I love The Faculty.
Okay, just making sure.
I'm a '90s kid. Of course, I've seen the Faculty.
Of course, but like again, who won the end of the day? Elijah Wood, who was the nerd.
Yeah. Of course, he would be the one to take the ring. Oh no, that's a different movie.
I know, but still, it's like Elijah Wood. Thank you for being a nerd. I love you. He's so sweet.
He's a very beautiful person. If I ever see him, I get lost in them constantly. If I ever meet Elijah Wood, I might just give him a hug. I might be arrested for assault.
You need to ask first.
No.
Boundaries.
No.
Legal precedents.
Yes.
Laws.
So if you're doing the show by yourself, and it's like, so Joe's in prison.
Yeah. So apparently you can't. It's considered assault.
So remember when we were talking about boundaries,
guys? That's important.
Joe paid no attention to that.
But saw that sign and went right past it.
But yeah, I mean, like we're owning our, I don't know, recovery. Yeah. So Ina. Mm-hmm. Who is this amazing person is it Nigeria? She's in Africa somewhere. She has this beautiful hashtag and it's called No Disability, Only Ability. And it's beautiful. And she's like the most motivating, beautiful, spirited human being in the world. But there's no disability. It's only ability. Hashtag. Well, hashtag should be at the beginning, huh? Yeah. But yeah, it's really weird. But I'm slowly but surely owning I'm not even gonna say what's wrong. What's healing? Yes, what's healing? I'm owning like my slight deficits. Mm-hmm. They're not permanent, and even the permanent ones, hey, I'm gonna work my ass off to make sure that they're not permanent. I'm trying to talk about it more. I'm trying to be more open with it instead of like just letting it fester. And because I want my brain to explode again. And if you guys need help like getting through any of this stuff, please reach out to me. Lauren is a survivor ass kicker. I literally mean that because she survived this incredibly like difficult journey back to from her concussion, and she's kicked my ass several times.
Oh my God, stop it. Well, like for me, the hardest part for me beyond anxiety, because again, like I told you guys, I've never had anxiety in my life, so now it's like almost debilitating sometimes, which scares the shit out of me. But working through that, but probably the most the hardest thing to accept. I don't know if y'all have ever heard it while I'm talking. Sometimes I can't think of words. So that's one of the biggest ones, especially because I pride myself on being an articulate individual, especially as a writer. And so it was actually at the therapy session that was mandated by my lawyer because they had to make sure, how crazy I was.
On a scale of 1 to 10, very.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, oh yeah. And so one of the things was she, again, when we were talking about reframing, was also putting things into perspective for myself. And so I was trying to downplay the fact that I just can't remember words,
Right.
like it's frustrating as hell, but I couldn't remember it. But what she said is she stopped me. We had a moment and she goes, you got to change the way you're looking at this. She says, for you, your intelligence and your ability to articulate is so important. And she goes, compare it to a supermodel, right? Imagine Naomi Campbell wakes up tomorrow with a huge scar across her face.
Right.
She goes, that's what happened to your brain. And so there goes her livelihood. There goes everything she knows. So this is what happened to you, is everything that you pride yourself on has now been affected in a deep way. And it manifests in everything you do. So I have given myself like the new normal which is still hard to accept. I even get emotional right now thinking about it, is my new normal is I forget words, which fucking sucks.
It does.
So when I can't think of a word, I just say, okay, I didn't think of the word. So I don't get upset or frustrated. So, but when I do remember a word, it's like, point for me.
Right. Absolutely. So
Lauren gets a cookie.
That was one thing that helped. Actually, both of my therapists, my occupational and my therapist said the same thing. You can't beat yourself up over things.
So hard.
When things go wrong, they're like, okay, so you beat yourself up. You do that, right?
Do you celebrate the wins?
How often do you pat yourself on the back when you're just doing well? Never. That never happens.
Yep.
So if you're going to beat yourself up, you have to make sure that anytime you have a success, you celebrate the hell out of that.
Darkness rises and the light to meet it. Like, there's got to be some balance.
There has to be. It's we have to be gray Jedis.
Yeah, seriously. Like, I think I'm Kylo to your Rey. Honestly, I think.
Is it because I have a British accent?
No, I was just. It's because I'm more manly. No.
You know what? I'm not going to argue that at all. I'm comfortable enough in me to say that on a scale of masculinity, you're through the roof. And I only say that because most of the time, like, you have your foot on my neck when you're kicking my ass.
Oh my God, guys. I promise I don't hurt him.
That badly. She showed up with a sack of oranges and she beat me with it and said, I'm hitting you with these because the bruises are going to show on the inside. No one will ever believe you. Do you remember that?
Oh my God.
Clearly I'm joking. Or is this a cry for help?
Guys, his girlfriend would kill me, I think.
No, she would join in. She was like,
what, am I going to put soap in a sock next? Like, what's going on here?
Oh my God, are you going to Full Metal Jacket me?
Yeah.
No, don't beat me with soap. Don't beat me with a sack of oranges either. So yeah, like, own up to your recovery.
In whatever form that is.
Hey, look, I say it all the time. We're all works in progress. Whether you've had an injury, a stroke, a concussion,
Cancer,
or not. If you're just regular folk, we're all working. Yeah. By the way, I did. It's killing me. It's annoying. So, I mean, like, we're all works in progress. We're all trying to, like, better ourselves and be the best versions of ourselves. Mm-hmm. It's a journey, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Right? Is that the phrase?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, Joe remembers things.
I was really confused for a second where he was trying to go with this metaphor, but all right.
So obviously the NeuroNerds, we're always here to help. Reach out to me, Joso Rocks everywhere. Reach out to Lauren L. Manzano. The superstar, the incredible gold medal champion.
I got
gold
bronze.
Medals? Yeah. Wait, what?
I got a bronze.
Shame her. Shame her. But
I was a defending double gold medalist and I got a bronze at nationals.
You know what? You should be ashamed of yourself. I'm just kidding. You're amazing. But not only that, her brand new student had an amazing run through. Like, it was like a Jedi themed.
No, it was dark side.
I'm sorry.
It was Apprentice and Sith.
It was a Sith themed.
Yes.
And Lauren looked like an amazing ass kicker because she is.
I was wearing
emphasis on the ass because so much of yours was showing. Good Lord, woman. So Lauren also is an amazing teacher. Like, her choreography for this is spot on.
Guys, I don't tell him to do this.
No,
I'm blushing so much over here.
She just threatens me. So I do it so I don't get beat. But again, if you guys need support, we're always here. We're a message away from helping. We're going to continue to do this. We're going to continue to share our stories and grow as podcasting hosts.
Yeah. And if you guys need resources, like, you don't know if you want to be connected to more people, you want to read some stories or some articles, make sure to check out the You So Rock page on Facebook. it's a work in progress,
It
just
is.
like us.
It is.
It's Joe's baby.
It is. And I wasn't ready at the beginning to get it going. It was.
It was premature.
So, but what we're going to be starting to fill it with like content and stories and lots of information. And then slowly but surely, we're just going to get all of these, people talking and get involved and get like really, really hands-on. So
it's part of his recovery, just like learning Spanish.
Yes.
And reading the comic book of Darth Vader in Spanish.
Yeah. I mean, sí. So,
oh, qué bueno.
No, qué lindo, right?
No, I said qué bueno, how good.
No, I know, but I'm saying I'm lindo, like I'm very cute, right?
Okay.
Just say yes.
Yes.
Say sí.
Sí.
Sí?
Mira esa cara. Oh my God. Okay.
Something about my face.
Yes.
See, Joe kind of gets things.
Okay.
So on top of that, check out my blog. Definitely the You So Rock section where I have guest bloggers tell their stories. You guys are all amazing. I adore every single one of you.
And we want to make sure to thank Avid again for sponsoring our episodes, and you'll be hearing from us soon. Again,
yeah.
Keep listening.
Definitely, will be even more nerdy next time.
Yes.
NeuroNerds out.
NeuroNerds.